Hello and welcome to not muted. Let's up. Can you hear me in the comments? Let me know if you can hear me. Now's the time to get the comments in. Now's the time to share the broadcast. We're not even at 100 viewers yet. Let's go. Right, so what we're talking about tonight, that's the thing. The show trials must go on. We're going to look at just how harsh these sentences really are. And all these, we're hearing all these stories about keyboard warriors, judges using the word keyboard warriors. And what is this having? What effect is this having on social media? Have you changed your social media posts or your activity, your usage on social media over the last week or so, just due to, I mean, people getting arrested for saying things on Facebook? The UK has become totally dystopian, ladies and gentlemen. So the chilling effect on free speech, is it now nuclear winter? That's what we're asking. Let me know in the comments. But last but not least, the Tory leadership election in Scotland takes an interesting turn. Does Dodgy Douglas, as he sees a man about a dog? A wee bit more information on that coming up later. But first, the show trials must go on. Let's get that banner up. The show trials must go on, ladies and gentlemen. And what am I talking about? Well, of course, I'm talking about things like this. Husband of quiet, sheltered grandmother, 53, says jailing her for 15 months for writing on Facebook that people should blow up mosques is, well, you can just, say this in an accent, well over the top. I agree. Well over the top. The husband of a grandmother jailed for more than a year for posting on Facebook, mosques should be blown up, has said the sentence is well over the top. David Sweeney, 76, believes his wife Julie, 53. So we're sending 53-year-old women to jail over things they post on Facebook. I mean, how much influence does a 53-year-old Julie have on Facebook? I don't know. She did not deserve to be locked up for her post in aftermath of the Southport stabbings, which were followed by rioting. At her sentencing at Chester Crown Court, Judge Stephen Everett branded her a keyboard warrior. There we go. That's the term. That's the term. So a keyboard warrior has been cut down. Keyboard warrior has been cut down, ladies and gentlemen. A digital sword has cut down this keyboard warrior. Even people like you should go to prison, the judge said. Even people like you. The court heard she was she led a quiet, sheltered life, but became angry when watching the news and hearing of a knife attack. Probably a very similar situation for a lot of people listening now. Mr. Sweeney, who used to work as an RAF supplier, argued that jailing his wife for 15 months was too harsh. He said it's simply completely out of proportion. It's just ridiculous. And here's the woman here. Julie Sweeney, 15 months for posting on Facebook that mosques should be blown up. And that's the happy couple on their wedding day. So, I mean, let me know in the comments. Is there even any comments coming in yet? What is going on, guys? Where's the comments? I need someone to react to. Come on, guys. 3 police cars turned up. There were 3 officers. What's that about? It's too big a force for what it was. It was just crazy. So they sent 3 police cars to lift one 53-year-old woman. It's a big loss. She's my right arm. It does anger you. It's over the top, well over the top. It's difficult. It's hard to come to terms with. She just got angry on the night because we watched the news item with her. It just wound her up because of what had happened to the 3 girls. Again, probably a lot of empathy with this woman in the chat. Following the Southport stabbings, in which 3 young girls were killed, Sweeney posted in a Facebook group in Kidsgrove, "It's absolutely ridiculous. Don't protect the mosques. Blow the mosques up with the adults in it." Prosecutor Sarah Baudry explained the post was reported to police after one of the group's 5,100 members found it distressing. 1 in 5,100. That's all it takes. Mr. Sweeney said he tried to delete his wife's post, but was unable to work out how to do so, and later it was taken down by Facebook. Sweeney from Church Law in Cheshire admitted sending communication to convey a threat of death or serious harm. Another family member who did not wish to be named agreed the sentence was harsh, saying there needs to be some sort of punishment. I'm not denying that, but 15 months is quite a lot, considering other people do worse things and get lesser sentences. Oh, this person. No wonder he doesn't want to be named. Nay, wanna he or she doesn't want to be named, because this hits the nail on the head. Other people do worse things and get lesser sentences. But in the eyes of our new government, online radicalisation, online far right, whipping up the far right online, that's really bad. That would be good, Alistair. Let's get us up to 50 subscribers on YouTube. We've got like 37. I'm sure a couple you can click the YouTube button. We don't really put much onus on YouTube. Not really. I think that we're lucky if our channel survive on YouTube, but I would appreciate it nonetheless. Lightning speed, says Ian Gibson. Absolutely. Right, so let's look at another one. Because clearly this is just way over the top. 15 months. Let's look at another one. Let's share this tab instead. Right, so here we go. Who are the rioters and what jail sentences have they received? Before I read you this article, though, before I read you this, what's happening here? What is happening here? All these people, here we go. David Wilkinson, John Honey, Roger Haywood, Andrew Ball, Grant Braidwood, Gareth Metcalfe, Paul Smith, Daniel Russell, and Connor Whiteley. Why am I showing you these people's faces? And why are the BBC showing you their faces? Well, I've got a video just to sort of take the edge off it a wee bit. But if you've ever seen V for Vendetta, this is what I can imagine Keir Starmer is like right now.
Every day, gentlemen. Every day that brings us closer to November. Every day that man remains free is one more failure. 347 days, gentlemen. 347 failures.
Chancellor, we do not have the adequate force.
We are being buried beneath the avalanche of your inadequacies, Mr. Creedy. Tonight, I will speak directly to these people and make the situation perfectly clear to them. The security of this nation depends on complete and total compliance. Tonight, any protester, any instigator or agitator will be made example of.
Chancellor, there is a contingency that has not been addressed.
Made example of. That's the phrase. They're being made example of, ladies and gentlemen. And these sentences, let's look at what they've done. Let's delve in a bit. They're being made example of. This is the thing. And this is why it's going to have a knock-on effect with social media. And we'll talk about that later on in the show. But let's look at what their sentences are first. David Wilkinson, 48-year-old. In incident location in Hull. Violent disorder, racially aggravated criminal damage, attempted arson. 6 years in prison, guys. John Honey, 25-year-old, Hull. Violent disorder, racially aggravated criminal damage. So, I mean, what is racially aggravated criminal damage? Is that criminal damage to a mosque? Is that criminal? Is attacking a car racially aggravated? What is the racially aggravated criminal damage? You're sort of you're implying a racial motive to the criminal damage. Probably very hard to convict of. That's why I think this guy might have pled guilty. And burglary. 4 years, 8 months in prison. Roger Haywood, 41-year-old. Blackpool. Violent disorder, assault an emergency service worker, 2 years, 6 months in prison. Andrew Ball, Plymouth. Violent disorder, 2 years, 8 months in prison. Grant Braidwood, Plymouth. Violent disorder, 2 years, 8 months in prison. Gareth Metcalfe, 44 years of age, Merseyside. Violent disorder, 3 years, 4 months in prison. Paul Smith, 21-year-old. A wee 21-year-old who probably doesn't know any better. Manchester, violent disorder, 2 years, 10 months in prison. Right, and this is when we've got like the most overburdened prison system, we've ever had. There's so many people in prison right now, and I can tell you for a fact that we've got judges here in Scotland that are given a list of what the occupancy rate is. I mean, we've got 10 cells open, so you can convict 10. We're trialing people here in Scotland on capacity. So just let that sink in a wee bit, right? We've got judges here in Scotland that they're told prior to their trials just how many spaces they've got in the jails. And we're trialing people based on capacity of our prisons at the moment. That's what's truly happening. So Daniel Russell, 47-year-old, Bristol, violent disorders, 2 years, 8 months in prison. Connor Whiteley, violent disorder, assault and emergency service worker, 3 years in prison. Let's look at... So when we're looking at violent disorder as well, right, what I want to say, because I've got some quite dramatic videos coming up for you in the show. Quite dramatic. We've went in the time machine and thrown a fishing rod in and pulled out some videos of the past to sort of to lay against what happened on the riots just a week or two ago. Right? We'll get rid of this page now. But what I want to show you is let's remove this. Right, so let's recap on the riots. Okay, so we had let's look. We've got a lot of clips in here, guys. Sorry. Where are they? Apologies, guys. I apologize. This is the one where the guy gets hit in the head, then the balls, right? So watch the guy on the right hand side. That's one. That's another one. Right, so this is about, we've recapped about just probably the worst scenes we've seen from the riots that happened in Southport, right, after the stabbings. Right, so you've seen the police get totally... The police get totally overwhelmed and run away. Now, let's jump in the time machine. Right, so, I mean, all our politicians have said, oh, it's the worst thing that's ever happened. It's so despicable what these people done. It's horrendous. It's the worst thing that's ever happened in Britain. We need to clamp down on them as much as humanly possible. So what I've fished out is riot footage for the 1990s. The poll tax riots. Right, so you tell me what, get your comments ready. Get them ready. What's worse? The 1990 poll tax riots or the riots that happened in Southport, right? I've got 2 videos to play. The first one's coming up now.
I was just up against the barrier, you know, people were rushing back, I couldn't get out at all. And I was just stuck, I was being crushed.
To canter into a trap with their baton, in other words, a mounted baton trap, is extremely dangerous. In fact, it says that the risk is thought to exceed the risk of plastic bullets. And they say that these sort of tactics...
Between St Martin's in the Field and South Africa House, and we saw the photographer who was on the news at 10 getting beaten up, basically, jumped on by the police and beaten up.
Back of the crowd, so they had space to really get going. As they got closer, my partner said, run. We were already running, but he just sort of yelled at me, run. And I felt that that was one of the only times in my life that I've literally run for my life. We ran as fast as we possibly could up towards Piccadilly.
Right, so quite dramatic footage there for the 1990 poll tax riots. Does that look any more severe than what just happened in Southport the last 2 weeks? I would say so. Let's look at another one. This one's a bit longer, and I think the footage is a bit more dramatic.
On this day in 1990, serious violence broke out in London during a protest against a new council tax called the poll tax. Thousands attended the rally, calling for it to be scrapped, claiming it was unfair. Many protesters said the march was hijacked by violent anarchists who attacked the police. Ultimately, the hugely unpopular tax was binned, and it also played a part in ending Margaret Thatcher's time as Prime Minister.
The rioting began when police tried to clear Whitehall after demonstrators refused to move from the entrance to Downing Street. The fighting rapidly escalated. Missiles rained down on the police, who seemed unprepared for the ferocity of the violence they faced. Officers made repeated charges as their lines came under attack. Police vehicles, trapped by the mob, were attacked with bricks, bottles and iron bars. Many had their windows smashed. The police accept the majority of the tens of thousands of demonstrators were peaceful. The violence was caused by around 3,000 among them. There have been more than 300 arrests, many by police snatch squads. Dozens of demonstrators were injured during the fierce hand-to-hand fighting. Some of the injuries are very serious. More than 40 police officers have also been injured. South Africa House and an office block opposite were set on fire. 3 hours after the trouble began, thousands of protesters were still in Trafalgar Square.
Please disperse, leave the square, please.
As police cleared the square, some tried to remember what the demonstration had been all about. Breakaway groups of rioters swarmed all over London's West End. Some of the worst violence of the day followed. Cars were overturned and burnt as the mob retreated into the Leicester Square area. Shop windows have been smashed and there's been widespread looting. Hours after the official anti-poll tax demonstration ended, rioting is still going on.
Wasn't so long ago, ladies and gentlemen. 1990, the year I was born. 1990, only 34 years ago. And yet, that'll be in the memory of a lot of the politicians existing today. Keir Starmer, he would have been about when the poll tax riots was about. He would have been... so, the whole point is that this whole... branding of these riots is the worst thing that's ever happened. Is just plain wrong. It's plain wrong, and they're using just even the most meager incidents of rioting, of disturbance, to come down on us like a ton of bricks, and then you end up like this. You end up like this, being made example of. I wonder how many people they've done that to in the poll tax riots. You know, they didn't need to worry about censoring the internet in 1990. They didn't need to bother doing that. Let's look at the comments. Back in the day when London was almost entirely white. That must be. It was only 1990, 34 years ago. Force forget. Oh, only 1990. You know, this is the thing. I mean, there is no racial aspect to these riots. It's purely against what the government proposing. But now fast forward on 30 years, 3 decades, and we have this racial element to these riots. This racial element that never used to exist in our society, that never used to be there under the surface, and now it's just been bubbling under the surface for such a long time that it's become a massive issue. And you know, I often say that, you know, Scotland, if, you know, left to our own devices, sectarianism would seep in, just like it had. Of course, we've got the Catholic Protestant divide, the classic Scotland. What team do you support? Question. That type of sectarianism. But now we've got this sort of imposed sectarianism on our society. Not necessarily in another way, but we've got this Islamic element now added to our society. It's no longer Protestant and Catholic. It's Christian Muslim sort of sectarianism here that's playing out, especially across England. And we'll look at a story just when we get to our next phase of the show in a few minutes, over in Ireland, where a priest was stabbed, I think, 5 times. An army chaplain stabbed. I mean, how many attacks on Christian people are we going to just ignore before we start saying there's, you know, an anti-Christian rhetoric? Do we give people special sentences for attacking priests? I bet we would give a special sentence if someone attacked an imam. These are core questions here, because we are getting to the two-tier root of it all, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, we've got 260 folk watching us now. Thank you, guys, but we can do better than that. Let's get the broadcast shared, retweet, give me a comment even if you're not entirely sure about retweeting it, just in case. Oh, don't know what I'd be retweeting for. Oh, just in case. Gives me comment. I love to read the comments and we'll read them out. Never realised the riots back then were as bad. And this is the thing, Kerry Ann, this is what I wanted to display to the viewers, is that this is not new to Britain, riots. You know, we used to be so used to riots. It used to be a summer thing, the summer riots. Let's all go riot on the summer. No, we're very used to it here in Britain. And yet, we're not, the thing is, we're not used to it in the digital age, as enveloped in the digital age as possible. And there is another story on that at the end of the show, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. So you will be made example of. You will be made example of. And you'll be put in prison. And they are not joking around, guys. Keir Starmer is not joking around. They've already emptied, or not emptied, they've already released prisoners early. They've freed up the space in prisons. And I bet there's a lot of lawyers ready to make money and putting people in there. The Great British Rioting. Yes, force for good, absolutely. Right, so we're going to play this wee one video again, just to in honour of all these people who have been made example. Oh, who's this? Who's John Watt with the comment? Labour gets in power in Scotland. Welcome to complete takeover. Welcome to China. China. Welcome to China. Right, guys, you will be made example of. If you can imagine Keir Starmer's face on this guy, it's exactly what he's thinking and doing. This is what he's saying in private, guys. You will be made example of.
Every day, gentlemen. Every day that brings us closer to November. Every day that man remains free is one more failure. 347 days, gentlemen. 347 failures.
Chancellor, we do not have the adequate force.
We are being buried beneath the avalanche of your inadequacies, Mr. Creedy. Tonight, I will speak directly to these people and make the situation perfectly clear to them. The security of this nation depends on complete and total compliance. Tonight, any protester, any instigator or agitator will be made example of.
Does that resonate with you, ladies and gentlemen? Does that resonate with you? You will be made example of. Well, there's already been a lot of people being made example of. That's for sure. Apologies for taking a wee coffee bit. I couldn't help myself. Righty-ho. So we'll be moving on to swiftly to our next segment, the chilling effect on social media. And, you know, I wanted to show just a wee bit of what I'm talking about here, because there's a lot of things happening. And what I'll do is I'll share this tab instead. Can you see it on the stage? Right, so I've just got you on my Twitter. It should not be doing this. Should not be doing this. This. Okay. This is what I've seen earlier. And I'm saying to myself, this is interesting, right? So it's interesting for a number of things. Obviously, this we're praying for this guy to make a full recovery. Father Paul Murphy over in Ireland. So this happened, yesterday? Stabbing of Father Paul Murphy is now being seen as a terrorist incident. Some reported the boy, 17 years old, was Middle Eastern and commented on Ireland's involvement in the region. He works as an army chaplain. Soldiers fired upon or opened fire on the attacker. And in the other report, I read that there was 5 warning shots. 5 warning shots. He's in hospital undergoing surgery for serious wounds. So let's send some collective positive energy towards Paul Murphy to see him make a full recovery. But what am I seeing in the comments? What am I seeing in the comments? This is what I'm seeing. David, I don't believe the Olive have released any details about the assailant. Please be careful. I don't know what it means by Olive, but 57 likes, 11,000 views. Please be careful, David. Olive haven't released any details on the assailant. Please be careful. It's okay, David says. Well, it doesn't say it's okay, but it says GB News said so. I want to see the replies to this. And then this is the one I liked. This is what they want. Too scared to either state the obvious or to be in constant fear about reporting incidents, even reported in the mainstream media. All part of the government psyop. This is the interesting bit. This is where we're getting into this sort of psychology, the effect that these people having been made example of in the media, having handed out harsh, ridiculously harsh sentences to people just posting stuff on Facebook. People with little to no influence, old ladies posting stuff on Facebook. And yet we had some grooming gang in Rotherham rape over 1,400 girls. That's the number. Nothing done. Nothing done. Nothing done. And then we get a 53-year-old woman arrested for stuff on Facebook. Somebody that's got no influence. I mean, and again, it goes to the point of if I say to you, right, we're going to go riot tonight. We're going to go riot tonight. If I say that to you, I mean, it's up to you to go and riot. But it's up to you to go and get your pitchfork and get your torch and light your torch and physically go to the building and physically go to where I've told you to go. I mean, there is a lot of onus on the individual. Doesn't matter who said it. It doesn't matter who, if it's me banging the drum, banging the riot drum. Let's go riot. Let's go riot. It's not about that. It's about the, you know, like, surely I can say things like that. Surely I'm allowed to say things like this. Because it's up to the other person in order to actually undergo and do all these actions. You know, it doesn't make any sense that we're coming down so hard on people just saying things. And what my whole point about bringing up this David Atherton tweet and the point that this person here, David, don't be careful. Be careful. Be careful about what you say. Be careful about what you say. And it's got 11,000 views. And he says JB News said so, and it's got 10,000 views. Do you understand what I'm getting at here? This new paradigm where we've got Keir Starmer locking rioters up, locking up people for saying things on Facebook, this new racial aspect being tied to crimes. Why is it? Is this a move to put Ofcom in the seat of power almost? Because what we're doing here is we're laying credence and legitimacy back upon mainstream media. That's what's really happening. Is that I can't report on it. Look, David Atherton, GB News said so. That means he can now report on it. Do you understand? Oh, I'm not going to report on anything because I'm an independent reporter. I'll have to wait for the mainstream media's line to report on it. I'll have to wait to see what GB News has said. I'll have to wait to see what Sky News have said. I'll have to wait to see what BBC have said before I go and post anything, just in case I'm wrong and just in case I get done by putting misinformation out there and just in case I get done with racial incitement. You see what I'm saying? It's an attempt to make the mainstream media whole again. The internet and sort of content creators on the internet, they've driven mainstream media into the floor. They can't compete. But they can compete now. They can compete now because everyone's too scared to report on stuff just in case they're wrong before the established media narrative is driven through all the mainstream media puppets. Does that make sense to you, ladies and gentlemen? Does that make sense? Get the comments in. A few of the accounts I follow on X, one received a prison time of 3 years from posting online. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that because it was this one here. Oh, I need to cut this guy's post. There we go. A Rangers supporter by the looks of it. Here's the post. Here's the post. Let's hide this comment there. Here's the post. 3 years in prison, guys. Wayne O'Rourke, who runs the X account, Sick of It. This guy here, you might follow him. Was jailed for 3 years for publishing material online to stir up hatred. See this? To stir up racial hatred. Does this... All the Scottish listeners will be saying, I've heard those words before. Where did I hear those words before? Oh! Ooh! Was it in Humza's hate crime bill? Is it no the exact like playbook of using Scotland as this policy sort of experimentation area when it comes to the UK? Like the UK, like it's great in all its component parts, but Scotland really does get experimented on quite dramatically, quite fiercely when it comes to policy. We do get experimented on, the poll tax being one of them. And then this, the hate crime bill that Humza, drove through Parliament. That's the thing. We tend to get the arse end of the policy, hammer. So I'm seeing all these things, these phrases that we've just been going over in Scottish politics for the last few years to stir up racial hatred. This is word for word, legally, what Humza Yousaf put through the Parliament. The people of Stockport, where the F are you? Get out on the street. That's what he said, or that's among his posts. Let's actually read some of the. Let's read some of the article. Let's read some of the article. Right, you can see it. And here we go again, guys. Here we go again with this nomenclature, this new keyboard warrior. It used to be used online, like you're playing Halo against your buddies. Stop being a keyboard warrior. Now, judges are saying that as they convict people to years in jail. That's it, keyboard warrior. Get to jail. Get to jail for your keyboard antics. You and your keyboard antics. It is just absolutely mental. So let's read this. Keyboard warrior again from Lincoln, jailed for 3 years for stirring up racial hatred after Southport deaths. Stirring up racial hatred. Again, Humza Yousaf exclusive here. See, this is actually a good feature on articles. You should be able to listen to the article. An audio article is what I call it. A keyboard warrior who admitted publishing written material online to stir up racial hatred during the recent protests was today, Friday, jailed for 3 years. Right. My advice to anyone is probably not to plead guilty to any of this. See, the court case trying to establish that you're attempting to stir up racial hatred is quite a threshold legally in order to overcome. Wayne O'Rourke, 53, who had more than 90,000 followers on X, expressed support for the recent protests and offered advice to protesters on how to remain anonymous. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, advice to protesters on how to remain anonymous, which is their right. Well, it's not the right, but it's his right to give people advice. Among his posts on July 29th, was a reference to the death of 3 children in Southport, alleging it was a terrorist attack carried out by a Muslim. People of I know what is the sort of like what's the established like the final findings of this Southport stabbing? Why did this man stab those children? Why did this man do that? Have we established why he did that in the first place? We don't know yet, do we? Was it a mental health episode? Further post reads, people of Southport, where the F are you? The post had 1.7 million views, the court was told. Other posts showed a picture of a County Road Mosque in Liverpool and the picture of a burning car in Sunderland. This was accompanied by a post which read, Sunderland, go on, lads. Another post read, Starmer has basically said it is us against them. Hold the line. Other post read, numbers are important and give them hell, lads. Right, so this wasn't... It was pretty, like, tame. If we're looking at this. This is 3 years in jail. This is 3 years in the nick. And this is the post that it was. Go on, lads. Sunderland, go on, lads. Starmer has basically said it's us against them. Hold the line. Numbers are important. Give them hell, lads. In interview, O'Rourke admitted receiving around $1,400 a month in payments for his account. His big Twitter account, $1,400 a month. Oh. O'Rourke and Salek's approach Lincoln admitted publishing written material online to stir up racial hatred in July 28th and August 8th. Court heard O'Rourke had no previous convictions but was cautioned for fraud in 2018. Luca Harrington, mitigating, said O'Rourke did not set up this account with the intention of encouraging such material and became caught up in the media frenzy, which is a big thing as well. See if a lot of people are trying to establish what's happening, or if it's a fast-paced, fast-moving story, people are trying to establish what's going on. You could become a victim of the social media frenzy. Absolutely, you could. He worked as a parcel sorter, but left work to become a carer for his partner. She added that O'Rourke now wanted to re-educate himself about things that he had got wrong. Well, I'm guessing he said that just to sort of take some time off his sentence. You know, I want re-education, please. Can you please sign me up for re-education camp? Can I get a 25% discount on my sentence? It's just bizarre. So, again, let me know in the comments. Has this changed? Has your social media output changed over the last few weeks? Has it changed since these people have made an example of? Has the chilling effect on social media now become a nuclear winter? Because I mean, just judging by this David Atherton stuff, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That people are relatively afraid now of posting anything on social media, because it just becomes like a zero-sum game. It's like, why risk it? Why risk even having a social media account at this point, at this rate? You know, why? Why would you have one? You're giving you know, critics of you ammunition when you shouldn't. Rightio. So let me know in the comments if you feel that you have been, you know, sort of changed in your ways of using social media. Are you posting stuff like are you you know, maybe you were posting quite edgy stuff, but now you're like, oh, I'm not taking that risk. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be in that situation. Right, so we're going to move off the story. We're going to switch to Dodgy Douglas. Rightio. Dodgy Douglas sees a man about a dog. Right, first of all, let's get this off our screen. Dodgy Douglas sees a man about a dog. What can Niall possibly mean by that? What could he mean? What can he possibly mean? Well, let me show you. Let me show you. I just need to find my pictures. Sorry, guys. What does he mean? Well, he means this. Ho ho, ho ho. What's this he's saying? Well, the Scottish Tory leadership race has finally got an interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Finally. You know, I know that you didn't care about it. I know that you've probably, this is the first time you've probably heard about it, this Tory leadership race in Scotland. Nobody cares. It's like who can be king of the sandcastle. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Until now. Because what's being alleged is quite dramatic, ladies and gentlemen. Dodgy Douglas. Oh, no. Oh, what's being alleged is absolutely insane. Well, it's not really insane. It's pretty normal. But let's see. Let's read this. Joint statement from Scottish Conservative leadership candidates Niall Fraser, 𝘵𝘭𝘴, Jamie Green and Brian Whittle. So you'll notice, I think there's 6 declared candidates for the Scottish Tory leadership debate race. 6 declared. We've got Niall Fraser, 𝘵𝘭𝘴, Jamie Green, Brian Whittle. I can't mind the other one, but the guy in question that I think is relating to this is our man Russell Findlay. So what's happening over here? Why is Russell Findlay's name not on this letter? That's the question. Why is Russell Findlay's name not on this letter? Well, let's just read it. FAO, Scottish Conservative and Unionist Party Management Board. It all looks very official. Very official. As candidates for the leadership of the Scottish Conservative and Unionist Party, we are deeply concerned by the disturbing claims reported today about the conduct of Douglas Ross in relation to his seeking candidacy for a number of seats in the recent general election. The report also references his plans and preferences for a replacement leader to take over the party upon his departure, which are relevant to the transparency and fairness of the current leadership contest we are participating in. These allegations raise serious questions for the party which, in our opinion, require to be answered before the current leadership contest proceeds further. So these guys are like, nah, pause the election. Pause the Scottish Tory leadership election. Pause. Stop right now. We cannot proceed with this sword of Damocles hanging over Douglas Ross. We cannot proceed further. So what is he alleged to have done? 1. Were the candidates board aware that a female candidate selected for a winnable target constituency was asked by the party leader to step aside and make way for him? So is Douglas Ross asked someone to make way for him in a safe general election seat? This happens in politics? Are you nuts? Of course it happens. Were you born yesterday, guys? Are you still wet behind the ears? This thing happens all the time. Does the candidate board believe that this is an appropriate way in which to treat any candidate, not least a female, You know, I actually laughed at the wee bit. Not least a female. As if it matters differently. This is still like political horse trading that's happening here. We've got the new Elgin horse trader, Douglas Ross, the humble linesman. Is it true that this incident was reported to the party chairman and director months ago, as claimed? What action did they take as a result of the report? Were the party management board advised of this situation? When the party management board took the decision not to permit David Dogood to stand as a candidate in the Aberdeenshire North and Moray East constituency, did they do so in the knowledge that Douglas Ross was seeking a way to remain as a Westminster MP, contrary to all the assurances he had given publicly and to his colleagues? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Somebody is sticking the knife really deep in Douglas Ross. Really exceptionally deep. Ooh. Ooh. Were members of the party in the Aberdeenshire North and Moray East constituency aware of Douglas Ross's conduct when they were asked to select him as their general election candidate? The reports state that Douglas Ross was expressed plans for him to be replaced as party leader by an individual MSP. Was the party management board aware of his proposal, and in light of it, does it believe the current leadership replacement process has been affected by it in terms of fairness, scrutiny, and transparency? Let's get the wee comment thing away. Don't want that, just so I can read the bottom of the thing. The report states that Douglas Ross expressed plans for him to be replaced as party leader by an individual MSP. Was the party board aware of his proposal, and in light of it, does it believe the current leadership process has been affected in terms of scrutiny and transparency? And what action will be taken by party on this matter, including measures to ensure that the situation can never be repeated? Oh, so the Scottish Tory leadership election actually has gotten quite interesting. So what is alleged here is, let me just get up on. Let me see. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Oh, we'll read this one. This is the one. Let's share this one. What a story we've got right now. Rightio. Scottish Tory civil war erupts as leadership candidates ask serious questions of Douglas Ross. Serious, super serious questions. The Scottish Conservatives were engulfed in a civil war after 4 leadership candidates demanded the party answer serious, super serial questions on outgoing leader Douglas Ross. So it indicate these guys, they've been in a party with Douglas Ross for so long. He's been the leader of that party for ages. Ages. Ever since Ruth Davidson. Ages he's been leader of that party. And now he leaves, and now they're all twisting the knife. But what they're alleging is, what they're alleging here is that Douglas Ross has went to a certain person and says, I want that general election seat. I'd rather be an MP. I want a safe seat. So I can keep milking the taxpayer for as much as possible, for as long as possible. And I want your seat. And in relate, what I'll do for you, you see, if you give me your seat, the new, I'll give you a top of the list seat in 2026. Oh, does that ever happen in Scottish politics? Does that ever happen? Oh, answers on a postcard. You got to be serious, guys. You're serious about this? Of course this happens. Of course this happens. A joint statement, blah, blah, blah. Megan Gallagher, another leadership contender, announced she was resigning as Scottish Conservatives deputy leader shortly after the letter was published. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Is Megan Gallagher involved in this on the other end? She just resigns as deputy leader after the letter was... What is going on with the Scottish Tory party? Are they imploding right before our eyes? They're not even... They can't even elect a leader yet. You can't even elect a leader without imploding. It comes after Ross reportedly asked in July last year if he could replace Kathleen Robertson as the party's general election candidate in Moray West, Nairn and Strathspey. This is the thing. It comes to Kathleen, he says, do you fancy taking my begging bowl and giving me your seat? The seat that you are probably decent with your constituents. Looks like a safe seat for Ross. He thinks he can take it, so he wants to muscle his way in over Kathleen and offer someone else. It's also alleged Ross said he would prefer leadership candidate Russell Finlay to replace him as party boss. Ooh. Is that why his name's no on the letter? Is that why it is? I don't see Russell Finlay's name at the bottom there. Do you see that? Do you see that there? I don't see it. I don't see Russell Finlay's name. And it's interesting as well. You know, Russell Finlay. He's first out the gate. Remember that? He was the first person to say, yep, I'll be the leader. And I think they were like, hold on a minute. Come on, Finlay. We didn't even say we're going to have a contest yet. So, I mean, he's just bolted at the traps immediately. And he was the, the anointed one. We had Linda Holt on just a few episodes ago talking about this very leadership race. And we both agreed that Russell Finlay was it was like a passing of the torch. It didn't feel correct. You know, what do we know about this Russell Finlay guy? Other than the fact that Douglas Ross said he would prefer them. You know, why would he prefer him? Why would Douglas Ross prefer him? If he's not going to be in it, why would he prefer him? Anyway, the letter said as candidates, we've already read that. The report also references his plans and preferences for placement of leader. Yeah, we read that as well. Ross had reportedly met with Robertson last year, with sources alleging that he said that his heart was in Westminster, not Holyrood. That's the humble linesman. The humble linesman just telling you as it is. Oh. Nice attires. Are you standing in this Tory Scottish leadership contest, or am I due in court? Ooh. Oh, Craig Houston's always got the buns. He's always got the buns. So he does. No, I'm just putting on a show for my viewers, Craig. I know, I take a lot of time and effort, although it's just the top half. You see Houston. See if I was to stand up, you would see my boxers. Only joking. Hopefully I won't be in due in court, actually. Hopefully. So let's go back to this. His heart was in Westminster, not in Holyrood. Why is this guy's heart in Westminster? Why? It claims that she refused to the quest despite being promised selection as a Holyrood candidate in 2026. And this is where we get to the old, oh, you do this for me, I'll do that for you type political horse trading that happens all the time. That happens all the time. Except the Scottish Tory guys are somehow upset about it. Ross previously ruled it standard at Westminster to focus on his Holyrood priorities as leader and Highlands and Islands MSP. But U-turned during the 2024 election, announcing that he would seek election in Aberdeenshire North and Moray East, facing further criticism after former MP David Duguid said he was deselected the night before announcement due to ill health. So this was the reason that I was told that nobody likes Douglas Ross. Nobody likes Douglas Ross anymore because he stabbed this guy right in the back, David Duguid, who apparently could have won the seat because people actually liked him. And the fact that he was deselected the night before and just swapped it for Douglas Ross. And a lot of people couldn't take that. A lot of people said that was backstabbing, and a lot of people refused to vote for Douglas Ross just purely because of that. And then Ross decides to announce to step down as party leader after everything goes to shit. After all his plans, all his Machiavellian operations just disintegrate before his very... I can't be bothered being leader anymore, guys. I'm going to step aside. My heart's in Westminster, he says. He lost the seat to the SNP on July 4th and now faces calls from the Nationalists to resign from Holyrood. Ross told the Telegraph he sought the meeting with Robertson at the request of local members to check she was still committed to standing in the seat. No, he was trying to stop that committal and take the seat for himself. He said she confirmed that she was, and I then campaigned with her in the hope that she would win the new constituency. Ross added, throughout the leadership election, I have absolutely nothing. I've said absolutely nothing about the candidates or the contest, other than that I will remain as leader until my successor is appointed. My decision to remain neutral throughout the contest will not change. The candidates' letter to the management board ask whether they believe Mr. Ross's actions were an appropriate way to treat a female candidate. We're getting some comments for some of the SNP folk. We don't need to read that crap. He said, if Douglas Ross's heart isn't in Holyrood, he should resign. His bid to retain a seat at Westminster included a specific promise he would resign as MSP if he be successful. It's clear he's neither happy nor focused on the job at Holyrood. Nor should a job as an MSP ever been seen as second best or simply a backup. This sorry saga has again put the Tories' contempt for Scotland's Parliament under the spotlight. You know, I actually kind of disagree with that. I actually kind of disagree with that. No, really. And this relates to a personal and private conversation between Douglas Ross and Kathleen Wright. It's not a party matter. It's not a matter for the party. Oh, so that's why Douglas Ross, dodgy Douglas Ross, sees a man about a dog. Oh, well, that's the stories tonight, folks. That's the stories we've been through. The show trial must go on. The show trials must go on. We've got the chilling effect. The chilling effect on social media turns into nuclear winter. I can see it's turned into nuclear winter. I've hardly got any comments, guys. Where are your comments? I've got hundreds last show. Hundreds. And now this time, I've got none. Absolutely none. Well, we have a few, but in comparison, you know, we've had... Oh, there is one thing I wanted to show you. My apologies. My apologies. This is what I wanted to show you. Let's share this tab. Right. Add this to the stage. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I wanted to show you, okay? Please watch this video. Guys, seriously. When did the police start putting out just sheer propaganda? I mean, this is like movie level stuff. We've got a thrilling theme tune. Just watch this again. Just watch this again. Listen to the music. Listen to the music. What's happening? Do police have a social media department? They need to put videos. This is pure fear, what they're doing here. Look at we paused it on the perfect moment as well. This was not planned, ladies and gentlemen. The rainbow lanyard. Look at the rainbow lanyard there. Oh, be kind. Oh, be kind. It's the Rainbow Police Force here to arrest you for something you said on social media. Don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed. Oh, isn't that serendipity, ladies and gentlemen? Just pausing it, and all I can see is a rainbow lanyard. Be kind. Be kind. As they're taking away, what is that? A drill? When they're kicking somebody's door in. If you say something bad online, you can expect us at your door to kick it down, where we will be wearing our rainbow lanyards when we're trouncing about your house. You know, it's honestly, it's just ridiculous. And I think that this is just like sheer propaganda. You know, this is exactly what I'm talking about with the chilling effect, turning nuclear winter on social media. This is exactly what they're going to do. They're going to release more and more videos like this. Just watch. Nottingham Police. You'll see it. You'll see Police Scotland. You'll see all these different police forces creating their own social media propaganda. They love it. I mean, who are they trying to be here? Spielberg. I mean, what are they trying to... Christopher Nolan directs Nottingham Police's new movie. I mean, what is happening? Can you not just do your jobs? Do you have to be posting on social media like this? Do you need to be making a video about this? I don't think they do. I don't think they do. Right, anyway, let's get rid of that. Thanks for joining me today on the Niall Fraser Show, a special Friday edition. Yesterday wasn't too good for me, but I've got some papers from Wednesday, from Thursday, and one of today as well. So I mean, I just got some of the papers that were just a wee bit of a laugh. Wednesday's paper: witchcraft, churches stick gay exorcisms. Oh, what does that mean? What's that? Controversial forward in faith accused of vicious homophobia and misogyny. Campaigners demand the notorious religious group is stripped of its Scottish charity status. Oh, there's witchcraft and gay exorcisms. Oh no. But then if you read a wee bit into it, if you can read between the lines, as I can, witchcraft and anti-gay church warnings. Let's see what I think. Other finger. This guy. So the actual founder of this church died with a fortune of $130 million. And he had the third largest religious organization in Zimbabwe. This guy was, he died at 100 years old. 100 years old, guys. This guy died. Anyway, the church that he founded. It's in Scotland. It's adding roots in Scotland, right? So we've got a religious organisation trying to make a foothold in Scotland. It's Christian in nature. Oh, but it's witchcraft. It's anti-gay. Oh. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, would we have the same sort of adverse reaction to any other religion? You know, we allow quite a lot of stuff here in Scotland, but not that. This one again for the Wednesday as well, the Scotsman. The arts sector facing years of decline amid fresh cutbacks. Creative Scotland are warning as 10 million of government funding axed or put on hold. Oh no! Oh no! Has the funding dried up from Creative Scotland? Has it dried up? It's the same Creative Scotland that were paying people large sums of money to do a live sex show and then calling it art. Creative Scotland don't really do their job properly, ladies and gentlemen. They're co-opted by the rainbow, just like the rest of them. But this is the story that grabbed my eyes today. You know, I walk on, I see the newspaper headlines all the time, but what grabs my eye? Schools get the go-ahead to ban mobiles. Schools get the go-ahead to ban mobiles. SNP finally backs heads to stop students using phones in class, but fails to crack down on rising tide of pupil violence with a soft touch guidance. Head teachers have been given the green light to ban mobile phones in schools amid a worsening discipline crisis. Gilruth published guidelines to empower heads to stop pupils bringing devices to class. They'll also be able to bring in whole school bans, as mobile use can create unsafe learning environments that can impact behaviour. But ministers stopped short of introducing a formal nationwide ban, claiming it would not be appropriate or feasible. The move came as Miss Gilruth also launched a bid to crack down on spiralling classroom violence by urging teachers to show empathy and warmth to troublemakers. If someone's throwing stuff at you in the class, just show empathy. Warmth. Last night, Scottish Tory education spokesman Liam Kerr said this is an extremely belated response to the SNP government to a significant problem they have ignored for too long. Let's get to page 8. Haha. If head teachers now decide to introduce a ban on mobile phone use, they must have the resources to implement it without pupils' education suffering. Students and staff in Scottish schools deserve proper support. Right, so this is actually it's one of the best things that I've read in the papers, right? Because I was at the forefront of this, believe it or not. Niall, your man, Niall Fraser, for the Niall Fraser Show, forged the way to get mobile phones taken to school. And how did I forge the way? How did Niall do it? But Niall, how did you do it? How are you involving yourself in this? Well, I proposed it as my era-defining policy at the Scottish Family Party Conference. I said it would dramatically increase and it would revolutionise our education system overnight. A lot of people here in the chat, you'll be listening on your phones. I don't know what your age is, but just say if you're over my age, which is 34, that you would have went to school and there wouldn't have been any mobile phones. So you don't understand just what it's like having all these dings, vibrations, rings in the classroom, and this constant screen addiction in the schools. But what I've done, I've pulled up my old video. Oh, thank God. Of my conference, I believe. I think so anyway. Let's see if we can get it. Let me see. This message. I really did. So let's start. This is for the Scottish Family Party Conference. The problem may be alien to a lot of us in this room today, because it's a generational or a technological divide here. When I was at school, there was no mobile phones. Basically, no mobile phones. There was no social media. And there wasn't such a symbiotic type attachment to smartphones. We have such a problem in our schools with bullying, in person and online. The common denominator being the mobile phones. And yet nobody wants to talk about it. When you see videos of pupils being attacked by other pupils, maybe teachers getting attacked by pupils, please know that these attacks are preordained. The record button goes on first, and then they attack another pupil. And then, what's worse, this video then follows the victim and the perpetrator for life. It's there for life. It's online forever. So the victim can relive their horrible experience. The perpetrator can relive their own menacing behaviour day after day. But what if I told you that technology already exists to enforce a complete ban on smartphones in our schools? And what if I told you that after implementing such a ban on smartphones, student engagement improves, student behaviour improves, academic performance improves? Yes, indeed it is. Safety and security improves. And even staff retention improves. This is such a simple thing. But if we could implement this, it would make a whole world of difference. You think a pupil doesn't want to be filmed at school, or the fear of being filmed at school. The teacher doesn't want to be filmed during a lesson. You can't possibly conduct a class with all these rings, dings, phone calls, vibrations, all these distractions. And the whole world and classrooms are littered with distractions these days. So how are you supposed to function as a teacher? I don't know. But we should be the party for teachers in education. I really do think that. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that in order to protect the next generation of Scots coming up through our education system, we must implement a Scotland-wide ban on smartphones across all our schools, all of them. To preserve the innocence of our children in an increasingly digital world, we have to create these digital-free bubbles, air pockets where our people should breathe. Yeah? You get the point, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to bore you with the rest of the clip, because I know that you know that this is absolutely the correct policy. People shouldn't have to contend with this new level of, it's like psychological torture with the phone. I mean, a lot of adults struggle with social media addiction already. A lot of adults struggle with screen time, with parsing up, we struggle with misinformation, disinformation, whatever you want to use on the phone. Adults struggle. Adults struggle. And yet we want to hand the smartphone to kids and ruin their life. And again, what was known about this is when you take phones out of the school environment, it gives kids their innocence back. That's what it does. That's the most profound thing that it does. It gives kids their innocence back. They can be kids again. There's no clip that's going to follow them around for the rest of their life. There's no, breaking of hate crime laws. There's none of this. There's no, footage that are going to have. They're just in the moment. They're just being innocent kids. And this is what really has been stripped from our schools. Is this innocence has just been extracted from our schools, and rainbows, and the rainbow torture, and the rainbow LGBTQ PS pedo Satan cult take over. But This is a victory of the day, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care where it's coming from. Schools get go-ahead to ban mobile phones. And they should do it nationwide. See this nonsense about, oh, it's not feasible to do it nationwide. Yes, it is. Yes, it is feasible. It's absolutely feasible. In fact, they're letting kids down if they don't. So at least what it's doing is it's empowering head teachers to ban phones, which include banning phones school-wide. So if you're a head teacher, if you're a teacher, let your teacher know that they can ban phones. What's going to happen? Kids are going to have a more enjoyable time at school. Kids are going to learn more with less distractions. They're going to have their innocence back. You'll see it almost immediately. You know, the teachers are going to be able to teach a class with no distractions. They're going to be able to retain the pupils' attention, for one. You know, I just honestly, when I made that conference speech, I think it's probably the most important thing that can be done right here and now. That would cost us relatively a low amount of money. I mean, in essence, it doesn't need to cost any money at all, but it would cost money if you see what I'm saying. So what happens? See, if I was to say, as I was First Minister tomorrow, all phones are banned for mobiles. All mobile phones are banned for schools. Well, some people would say, "Oh, well, I need to take mine. I need to take mine." And what would happen is people would just bring them. We need to spend a bit of money to make sure that they're not getting used in schools, that they can't be used in schools. It's not enough for a blanket ban. I mean, if you could trust people to go along with a blanket ban on mobile phones, if you could trust the parents, if you could trust everyone to be as one on this and to be united with the ban of phones for mobile phones, it could cost zero. It could cost zero. But in reality, that's not going to work. So you would need to pay for some of the infrastructure in order for phones to be put in special wallets, in special lockers, whatever it is, where they actually physically can't use the phone. Either a signal doesn't go to the phone. Let's do a phone-in. I disagree with you about mobile phones. Well, I mean, what positives do they have in the classroom, Alan? Let's get Alan on again. Education needs to change. It's dated and boring. I want to use my phone if I'm being educated by the government. I'd want to use my phone if being educated by the government. We're not totally on the same on the different page here, Alan. But education does need reform. It is dated. I wouldn't say it's boring. I mean, certain aspects. I mean, what's boring to you is not boring to someone else. And I want to use my phone if I'm being educated. But look, of course, if you're being, if you've got the Rainbow Warriors slamming rainbows down your throat all day, every day, you would probably want a wee bit of Andrew Tate to take the edge off. Oh, separate dopamine hits for certain things. And the indomitable Thomas Ingram makes a comment. Problem is, a lot of parents view their kids having a phone as personal security. Well, look, Thomas, I know you. When you went to school, if your mum needed to get you from school, she would probably pick up the phone the school, and you'd be taken out of class, just like that. You know, what we do is we create problems with taking phones at school. Well, my wee Timmy needs it because I need to contact him if there's an emergency. Well, do you? No, you don't. The school can take him out of school if there's an emergency. The school, you can contact the school, and the schools. See what I said in that wee bit in the speech in the conferences. It's a digital free zone. It's like it's a similar type phenomenon. It's where if you go to a comedy show, just say it's somebody edgy just say it's Jerry Sadowitz at the Fringe. You're going to see one of the most crazy, you know, he can't say things because he'll get done with a hate crime. We're going to see Jerry Sadowitz at the Fringe. Maybe they require you to put your phone away before you get in. So there's already comedians. Dave Chappelle does it, where you're not allowed any record, you're not allowed any phones at his things. And what it does, you're totally lasered in. You're not thinking, I've got a phone in my pocket. What's happening online? I've got a phone in my pocket. It's just vibrated. I've got a phone in my pocket. What's happening? You haven't got your digital alter ego with you. You're there. You're present. This represents the digital alter ego. This, you know, somebody described Twitter to me as like an egotistical tightrope. You know, that's all. You know, it's like an intellectual ego trip. Twitter, because you're just putting words in order and stuff like that. But I mean, this digital separation, this separation between self and digital self, is indeed a problem, and a lot of people are going to be struck by that in the sort of decades to come. And you know, this is why we see you laugh at some of the adverts, but you see it all over the internet now, all over stuff where it's, are you feeling down? Are you feeling depressed? Do you spend all your time online? You need better help. You need online therapy. It's being online that's causing you to need the therapy. I probably make the argument to you that online therapy begets more online therapy. It's one of these, you know, circular business models. You're creating more customers by having them online. Anyway, I digress, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a great show. We're just approaching 600. 600 people watching the show live. Incredible stuff. Sorry if you've just joined us. You've missed a spirited show. We went through the show trials must go on. All the rioters and the people posting online being made a massive example of. Keyboard warriors. That phrase being used by judges in the UK. A chilling effect on free speech in the UK becomes a nuclear winter on free speech. People hesitant to say, to speculate, to comment online, to add to the conversation. People afraid. We have this dodgy Douglas Ross sees a man a bit of Doug. The new horse trader in Elgin, Douglas Ross, accused of something that I think goes on. It's very common in Scottish politics, I would say. Very common indeed. You know, he's alleged to have tried to do a deal. You sit down, you stand in this general election and give me your seat, and I'll make sure that you get a seat in the 2026 Scottish election. What a lot of crap! But that happens all the time, and you're barking mad if you think it doesn't. Barking mad. Anyway, guys, it's 10:30 Friday. I've got better things today than broadcast right here, right now. Thank you so much for all your comments. It's been a pleasure to do it tonight. You know, I don't think we'll run Fridays for now on, but really, if there's any day in the week that I can do it, that I'll just do it. I'm just going to cast it out on, you know, any other day. I might even add another day into the roster and try to do 2 weekly shows. But it just depends on the level of news there is. Like Wednesday, I would have done a show, but it was just so very slow. The Thursday's basically the same. But tonight I felt obligated that I need to do the show. Anyway, guys, if you haven't already, give the Niall Fraser Show a wee subscription. Subscribe to us on the YouTube, just to show us that you exist. just to show you that it exists. And it might be easier to cast it to the telly so you can watch it on the big TV instead of on your wee handheld phone. But it's been spirited, guys. I've loved doing the show tonight, and really I've quite enjoyed doing the Niall Fraser Show, and we're just going to keep ploughing on with it until we see we don't need to do it anymore. We're going to bring on some more interesting guests as well in the future, but really it's just been I've just been sort of growing into the Niall Fraser Show and starting to enjoy it a bit more, and I hope you are as well. And with that, the one thing that I do know you enjoy, that is our intro and outro song. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from... I need to come up with like a phrase. It's goodbye for me. It's goodbye for him. No, I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.